Heartbreaking story. I received this guy's wife of 22 years, who is an accident lawyer, was caught cheating on her husband with another accident lawyer. But she thought since she was a lawyer, she was invincible in divorce court, but she didn't have any idea what her husband was up to behind the scenes. As my wife and I continue our lives together, I start to notice subtle changes in her behavior. She becomes less affectionate and talkative, and I see her guarding her phone more than usual. Our once passionate and fulfilling sex life, which used to be a source of connection between us, gradually decreases. We still manage to be intimate 2 to 3 times a week, but I can't help but feel the emotional distance growing between us. I try to be understanding, considering the stress of her job as an accident lawyer and the emotionally taxing cases she deals with daily. But the change in her attitude toward me is difficult to ignore. My wife starts spending more time away from home after work, claiming she's hanging out with other lawyers from her firm. Although it's normal for her to socialize with colleagues, the frequency of her outings seems unusual. One day she calls to tell me she will be home late as she and some colleagues are going over accident cases. I fall asleep on the couch and wake up at 9 p.m. only to find that she still hasn't returned home. I send her a text, but she doesn't respond, worried. I decided to drive to her law firm, only to find that no one was there on the way home. I call her, but it goes to voicemail, leaving me feeling concerned and frustrated. Finally, at midnight, she returns home and apologizes, saying they went to a bar after reviewing cases and she lost track of time. I expressed my disappointment in her lack of communication, but she simply apologizes again and we go to bed in silence. This incident marks a turning point in our relationship, as her time away from home becomes more frequent and I start to grow suspicious of her actions, unable to shake the feeling that something isn't right. I decide to take matters into my own hands and look for any evidence that might explain my wife's behavior. I installed a voice-activated recorder in her car to see if I could catch any suspicious conversations or confirm whether my concerns are simply paranoia. For the first few days, the recordings only capture discussions between my wife and other accident lawyers about their cases, providing no clues to her unusual behavior. However, one day I heard her answer a call with, "Hey sweetie," which caught my attention. The caller isn't me or any of our children, leading me to believe it could be another lawyer. I will leave the recorder in her car for another week, hoping to gather more information while most calls continue to be work-related. I never hear her refer to anyone else as sweetie again as my suspicion grows. I research private investigators in our area and schedule an appointment with one. I explain my concerns and we agree on a price for his services. The private investigator begins tracking my wife's movements and interactions, while I anxiously await any new information that might shed light on her actions. After a few weeks of investigation, the private investigator sent me a video clip of my wife leaving her law firm with a group of accident lawyers. The group eventually disperses, leaving my wife and another lawyer talking near his car. Once everyone else has left the parking lot, they get into his car and start kissing. The investigator follows them to a hotel where he captures footage of them embracing and kissing in the lobby while waiting to check in, overwhelmed by the evidence. I asked the investigator to compile everything he has collected. The weight of the situation begins to sink in, as I come to terms with the fact that my wife has been unfaithful with the heavy heart. I start making changes to my life to protect myself and my future, including adjusting my life insurance policy, opening new bank accounts and removing my wife as an authorized user on 2 credit card accounts. As I confront the painful reality of my wife's infidelity, I know that I must take the necessary steps to protect myself and our children during the upcoming divorce process. Realizing that I need legal help, I research and find a divorce attorney who specializes in cases involving other lawyers. We discuss assets, alimony, and other matters related to divorce. I make it clear that I don't want to provide alimony for my wife, who earns a substantial income as an accident lawyer. I refrain from discussing the situation with our kids until the divorce process is further along and we have a clearer picture of the outcome. Meanwhile, the private investigator continues to gather information about my wife's affair partner, who turns out to be a married lawyer as well. With the help of the investigator, I collect more evidence to use in my divorce case, solidifying my position and ensuring that I am prepared for the upcoming legal battle. I decided to leave the marital home and move into one of the furnished rental properties I own, keeping my whereabouts a secret for my wife and kids. For the time being, my wife grows concerned and repeatedly calls and texts me, but I avoid responding to her messages when my kids start to worry about my absence. I reassure them with the white lie, telling them that I am spending time with an old friend I haven't seen in years as I stay away from home. The private investigator sends me a comprehensive report on my wife's affair partner and his family, giving me all the information I need for the upcoming legal battle. Meanwhile, my wife's concern eventually subsides and I continue to prepare for the divorce without her knowledge. A month after leaving the marital home, I have my attorney serve my wife with divorce papers at her law firm. Initially furious, she threatens to take everything from me and announces her intention to represent herself in the divorce. However, when she discovers the reason behind a divorce through a request for discovery, her demeanor changes dramatically, and she becomes more cooperative. Despite my wife's change in attitude, I declined a request for mediation, deciding that the legal process must take its course as the divorce proceedings continue. My wife tries to secure alimony, but the judge denied her request due to her high income and infidelity. In the aftermath of the divorce hearing, my wife and I are tasked with dividing our assets. The judge orders us to split our 4 rental homes equally between us. We are also given just over a month to remove our belongings from the marital home before it is sold, with the understanding that we would divide the equity from the sale a week after the divorce is finalized. I decided to send a packet containing all the incriminating evidence to the other lawyer's wife, only to find out that she was already aware of her husband's infidelity and was planning to divorce him as well. Meanwhile, my 2 sons, both in college, are devastated by the situation but supportive of me. I made the conscious decision not to show them the footage of their mother's affair, believing it would only cause them more pain. As I adjust to my new life, I focus on managing my restaurants and being a good father to my boys, doing my best to move forward after the tumultuous events that led to the end of my marriage. As I settle into my new life, as a single father and business owner, I am grateful for the support of my sons, friends, and employees. They help me navigate the emotional ups and downs that come with rebuilding my life. After divorce, I dedicate myself to growing my businesses and continue to refine my skills in the restaurant industry. The success of my restaurants has become a source of pride and accomplishment, helping me regain my confidence as time goes by. I also start exploring new hobbies and interests. These activities help me rediscover myself outside of the context of my marriage and reconnect with the person I was before. Gradually, I find peace in my new circumstances. Learning to accept the past and embrace the present, the love and support of my sons remain a constant source of strength and motivation for me as we navigate this new and unexpected chapter together. Wow! All I can say is this woman, who is an accident lawyer making $90,000 per year, probably more, still wanted alimony from her husband. That's crazy, making almost six figures as an accident lawyer. And that wasn't enough. Ridiculous. Until next time.